I was, you know, it was like was it like Wednesday? I was on Facebook Marketplace, and an old friend of mine on there's a couple of the groups, and I forgot how we exactly lined up on Facebook as friends, but, you know, arcade people line up, and he's like, hey, I'm selling some stuff. And I was like, what do you got? What do you got? And, yeah, he's poised for the unveiling. So he started posting a couple things, and sure enough, here we go. This is it. Oh, it's a Sega T-13 table. This is the great grandfather, well, kind of the godfather to the Aero City. It's kind of like the it's technically an Aero table, but before the Aero table. And I saw this thing and I immediately fell in love. And the price was ridiculously perfect. The screen is beautiful. Everything is original. It doesn't stink like smoke. Power supply, the coin mechs, you know, with exception of the buttons. I did say everything. I'm completely wrong there. The buttons were not original. It looks like there was some work done to the cabinet that needs some help. And I'll explain that in a minute. The JAMA harness is an absolute pigsty, but it works. So it is a JAMA cabinet, so I can swap boards like a candy cab. So it's like a candy cab that was made it started in 1983 by Sega. This board in particular, I'll show you in a minute or two, was made in 1985. But you can see here, it's kind of nice. Like, if you wanted to do service on the cab, you could replace this you could just pull it out and, you know, swap the JAMA cables if you wanted or whatnot. It's got that nice PCB mount board that slides in the cabinet. You see me just kind of drop my Pac-Man in there for now. But that monitor, it's interesting. That monitor is super duper crazy interesting. It's an 18-inch Sanwa monitor from Sega, and I believe they were saying it's like a Nanao chassis. You can see that the cabinet's build date was June 25th, 1985. And I was look at this. It still has the stickers from the monitor. It's a Sega Enterprises color display 18 type. I've never seen this monitor before, but it is a fascinating one. This is the original fucking monitor from 1985, and it's crisp as fuck. I tuned it. I got that cabinet looking so goddamn good. That monitor looks great. There's a little bit of collapse on the one side of the picture, so I'm probably going to have the chassis serviced. What's cool about this is, and I'll show everybody in a minute, you can rotate the monitor. So like a regular candy cab today, you could rotate the monitor in this thing, and you can do vertical or horizontal. And the best part is it's not just a one-player cocktail cabinet. It's a two-player. So there's a player one, player two. So it's a traditional cocktail cabinet on both sides with Semetsu parts. And it has the candy cab-like abilities to swap PCBs. It has JAMA capability. And you can rotate the fucking monitor. And I got it for $500. I couldn't pass it up. I couldn't fucking pass it up. It ain't no common table. This thing is pretty goddamn rare. You don't see them too often, and they still have original Sega locks, which I had to figure out like how to pick them and get into them, so I got to figure those out. I've already got new buttons. We'll talk about the sticks and the buttons in a minute. I found out what size of buttons fits in there. You know, I noticed that there was some work done by a previous operator. The sticks are sloppy as fuck. I'll explain those in a minute because I got pictures of that. The coin mechs are set for 25 cents, and they work gloriously. Oh my god, it was really cool. Smoking deal. And then, like, I'll show you here. This is nuts. You want to see something even crazier? There's a damn light on the coin meter, and there's only 36,419 pulls on the coin meter. This thing sat And it is an absolute stunning condition. I mean, yes, it has some, a couple dents, and, the glass top isn't exactly perfect. The legs do need, there's a little bit of rust on the legs. I'm just going to polish them up and oil them, polish and wax them up, and they should be good once I focus my damn camera. Come on, focus. There you go. You can see the screen, the top glass is going to need some polish. I got to polish. It's like this real thick type of glass that's on it. Almost like a tempered, almost like a, what do they call that? Like a quartz crystal top. It's nuts. And you can see that there's some wearing and stuff in, underneath it from the paint, whether or not from usage. But otherwise, what's here is here. Hey, Django, we're talking about a new cab. It is kind of an aero table, Matt Stucker. It's pre-aero table, but oh, and as for what kind of locks they are, they're Sega locks. They're the old style Sega locks. This is interesting. When I've looked at other aero tables, I see the same pattern, kind of crunched into that back flake of the glass. It's almost like a similar flake as like what's on my 85 Outrun cab. So I'm wondering if I can locate the same paint for it. Or at least something similar. But it is 2 players, which is really awesome. And when you play 2 players on the cabinet, it rotates the screen for the other player, which is really cool. But yeah, let's talk about how in the F I got this thing. So I pulled out a little bit of stuff here and lots of pictures. When I got the thing, it came with a Kid Nicky PCB. It is a predecessor to the Aero table. That's correct, Matt Stalker. Yeah. Oh, and Dave Lister says it collected a total of $9,175. Those should be wafer pins. I don't think they're usually so bad to open. What, wafer pins? I don't know what wafer pins are. But yeah, they. Oh, I see the locks. I haven't tried to pick them yet. But when I saw this thing, I'm like, that's it. This is it. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's got every. I mean, this is how he sold it to me. This is stuff that I found on it. There's not a lot of information about this cabinet. There's not at all. There's the people that own them, as soon as I bought it, I started reaching out to some people I saw that maybe had one and had some limited documentation. And then other people started reaching out to me saying, hey, I see you picked up that cab. Let's start working together to try to document these a little bit better. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do that. And apparently they had like different control panels for like different games, like a fucking trackball. Look at that. There was a damn trackball for this. So like, I'm kind of excited to find out what I can find with this thing. So we took the Lulzmobile. We got it. We got the big chunk. We drove through some nasty storms. It was like, bah! Got the Subaru there. Got to his house. This guy had some of these cabs. In fact, he's selling one of these Korean squat cabs. He's selling one of them. He's got to his house, and we were kind of looking at some of his stuff. I didn't want to take pictures of all of it. I mean, if his home, you know what I mean? It was kind of rude of me to do so, but I did ask to take some pictures of this. This Korean squat cab's pretty dope. So I saw this thing, and I'm like, look at the inside of this little guy. This thing's cute. It's a lot of fun. Pretty neat. I mean, I wanted to buy it. I almost took it home. Because of these tables, you often see PCBs where the edges are cut off because of bigger PCBs will not fit in these table caps. No shit, Mad Stalker. I didn't know about that. Maybe I'll end up writing the wiring docs. It's possible. Fury Forces say you can swap the control panel boxes on these too, just like traditional cocktails. Right, and my question is like, does the control panel, and I'll get into the control panel in a minute, I'm wondering if the control panel is the same size. I've been hearing that it's the same size as the Aero table and the Aero City. And apparently the Holoseum cabinet has the same type of control panel. This dude had one of these cats, one of these hairless cats. Look at this thing. Look at this goddamn thing. It was all over. And it was like hanging out with us. It was amazing. I love that thing. It was like boxing with me. Oh, that cat was great. So we're looking at this cat. I mean, the monitor is super crisp. The cat was nuts. We fit it in the back of the car. We're getting home here, okay? Did he have a PCB collection? No, and I asked. I did ask, though. Snake Grunger saying squat cab. Wouldn't it be more like a tabletop? No, it's they call them a Korean squat cab. They call these a Korean squat cab. I guess because you could just kind of sit on the... That's kind of what it is. It's like you sit Indian style, and you're playing games. It's really weird. It's got like a 19-inch monitor. It's pretty well filled out, but an interesting cabinet nonetheless. But we were able to get it in the Subaru. I mean, just locked her in. We got out of Iowa, right? I was in the middle of BF, like nowhere, American farm country. Nowhere. It was nuts. We stopped at the Iowa truck stop, the biggest truck stop on the planet. There we are. Greetings from Iowa 80, the world's largest truck stop. Like Sigma and San Juan, bolt-on control boxes for cocktails and the old title arc stuff. Yeah. Oh my God. And then I was at that truck stop and I see like all these ridiculous like hats and this fucking shirt. I would have bought this if it wasn't so large. They had like, that was the smallest one they had. Yeah, we were in Walcott, Iowa. This thing was huge. And this was only one wing of the truck stop. There was like 3 other wings. It was nuts. Yeah, look at this. Look at that shirt. I mean, I was like, it was, they had XL was its smallest, and then everything else was like XXX and XX. I was like, fuck. I would have bought the fuck out of it. Kid Nicky PCB is original or bootleg. It's one of those games you see boot. No, it's an original triple stack. I'll show you pictures in a minute. You love stopping at the Iowa 80? Yeah, it's a cool truck stop. It's like there's like a mall in there. There's a fucking Orange Julius. I think we were talking about Orange Julius is in there. I mean, it's a big place. I was so excited. I was like, Orange Julius? I haven't seen Orange Julius since the 80s. And look at that. They had the Reese's Extreme Concrete Blizzard. Oh, I almost got one of those. It was bad. They did have an arcade, and they had a couple notable cabs. They had Cruisin' Blast, which just got released on Nintendo Switch. They had one of those world's largest Pac-Man. That was always cool to see, the Pac-Man Galaga, you know. Oh, yeah. And then he had, like, this, like, Chinese cabinet with, like, these weird, like, 4-player games I've never seen before. I don't know. It's like Fish Game or some shit. I don't know what the hell it was. It was interesting. There was a Raw Thrills Jurassic Park. And, yeah, there wasn't, like, a lot in that little arcade. But it was all the newer stuff. You know what I mean? You want the kitty shirt. You get an arcade in there, you're probably set for life. Yeah, and there was stuff in there. Pray All Day, and it's in camo. Yeah, that... It was like, I wanted to take pictures of more of the shit. They were so bad. And they had, like, those hats with, like, the wolves. They were everywhere. It was America! Ugh. I almost got the Pray All Day. I almost got it. Anyways, it was nice. They had the old gas pumps there, rolled the car up, and people were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, fuck you. I'm just going to take a picture with my car. So we eventually got it home, 8 o'clock at night, right? Just drive up to the arcade low cruise and blast cab without them noticing. I would love to. I had to muscle this thing up my own. I had to do it myself. And I got it up my steps. And then we had to get it in the door. And then I put it on a dolly. And I rolled it through my kitchen. And the chonk's like, what is this? What is this? And he gave me a bunch of stuff with it. I got 2 Pandora boxes. So I got the King of Air 2. And I got, I think, a Pandora's Box 6. I didn't wire them up yet. I don't know what they do. But I was like, fuck it, I'll take them. And he's like, yeah, I'll give those to you. This other truck stop somewhere used to have the Batman driving game. You can't remember where it was. Oh, no way. Batman driving game is pretty cool. So, and then I started putting the thing together. You know, you put it on its side. You put the legs in. And you just put the bolts in. It's really simple. There's just like 2 bolts each side. And that's that. And you can see how clean it is. Other than, like, the coin door area, the cabinet's in pretty good condition. It looks like somebody tried to open this a while back. Who knows what happened here? But other than that, the cabinet's in really good condition for its age. And that's how the legs are. The legs go into the cabinet as well. You can make them as short or as tall as you wanted. And yeah, there's the Kid Nicky PCB. This is original AF, man. So I'm probably not going to keep it. It's got one of those original smaller connectors, but you can convert it to whatever. But yeah, it's original Kid Nicky PCB. Is that a PCB access door? It is not. It's actually a monitor adjustment door. And I didn't want to pick that lock because otherwise it'll just stay open all the time. So I'm going to try to find some replacement locks for that. So, like, that's how you get in to adjust the monitor below the cabinet. And he didn't have the keys for me. So, you know, I'm just working off what I got. But yeah, so, you know, first things first. You get the fucker open, start cleaning it. You know, put some casters on the floor. Like, just get in there. Get that grime. And I'm telling you, this monitor is scratch-free. I mean, even the bottom of the cabinet is nice. There was no dust. Original kind of everything. Original power supply, which I'm going to get into and dig into and recap. You name it. I mean, just awesome. It really came together. It even has, like, the adjustable control information for the monitor, which is great. Oh, yeah. And then it had its original serial number. And then it even came with extra stickers with its serial number, which even made it crazier. So it was neat to have the date and know when it was made. And I was like, wow, this is now the oldest cabinet in my room. Man, you can only imagine what it would have been like in arcade industry in Japan during the 80s and 90s. Must have been a wild time. Absolutely. And look at this for inventory. There's even the original stickers for, like, an inventory sheet. I thought that was so cool. That matched. So we got the glass off. And you can see, like, there was this nasty goo, and it was, like, ugly down here, and just kind of a mess. So the first things first, of course, you know, clean the glass. I got some goo gun. I'm scraping off, like, this tape must have been from the 80s, because, like, it just took forever to get off. You get the plastic blade, you know, and you got it nice and clean. Look how nice it is. It looks nice and clean. Oh, so solid. Clean the glass. We got some goo gun. Of course, I had to bust out the hairdryer. You know what I mean? I kind of just used the triple threat. You use the Lysol wipes, you use some Windex, and you use some Goo Gone and a hairdryer. And you can, in a little vacuum cleaner, you'll accomplish anything. And that's what I was kind of doing. So we got the thing going. You know, we got it nice. You can see we got that tape off of here. Looks good. Even the chassis on this thing looks amazing. I can eat off this chassis. All I have to do is swap. I haven't done an inspection yet on it, but it is. Oh, look at this. I didn't notice this. It's a Nanao chassis. See that? Right up here. So it is an original Nanao chassis. And apparently the monitor's Sanwa. So I'll have to take a look and figure that out. But I did get the fucker out just to tune it. And that was a thing. Did those old CRTs have anti-reflective coating on it? They do not. They do not. They were gloss. Crazy Sway says, yeah, once they're open, they just rekey. That's my plan. I'm planning on just buying, like, a bunch of Sega locks from Yaten and calling it a day. I got, like, nice locks for my Astro City for, like, it was, like, 40, 50 bucks from him. Like, why not, you know? But once I had that monitor out, you know, I kind of did a little bit more picture work on it, just take a look and see how it's doing. You can see, you know, it mounts really nicely. And, again, the monitor can be rotated, so you have that ability to do that candy cab style rotation. And the cabinet's pretty simple. You know, even the interior is just in really good condition. You know, the cabling's in good condition, everything. I mean, I love how even the pots on the neck board are colored so you know what you're adjusting. It's fucking killer. You know, so just a very serviceable cabinet. Really neat, you know. We've always wondered about something with overseas arcades, as meticulous and clean as they keep them. I always wonder why some still allow smoking in the centers. I know that they've gotten better about it, considering kids' families, but that's always fascinating me. Glad your monitor has a frame. Yeah, no shit. But anyways, going back to the smoking thing, like, thank God this one didn't reek of smoke. It didn't. There wasn't even a hint of it. It just smelled like it was sitting in a warehouse. Like, they had it on location, and then they just said, yeah, fuck it, we're going to put something else there. I've always wondered about the Sega table cabs. When you turn on the screen, do you mount the control panel on its vertical side as well? Well, you can see the board. When I first got it, it had the Kid Nicky board in it. And the Kid Nicky board was mounted just like this. Let's see. Let's go back, and you'll see. So that's how it was mounted in there. And mind you, this is a triple stack PCB. So there's enough room in here. You know, I could probably put a CPS2 in here if I really wanted. But, like, would I? No. Because it's a 3-button cabinet. It's not a 6-button. But yeah. Your Ponytable's monitor is frameless and chassis mounts to the body. Oh, God. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Probably good-ass ventilation systems. Hell if you know. Yeah, I've been thinking I was going to put a fan in it at the bottom just to kind of keep it cool. I don't know how old that monitor is. But, you know, once I had it together, it was time for a Heineken Bomber, right? This thing was ready to go. And you can take this frame, this bezel, and once you take the glass off, you can turn the bezel after you turn the monitor, and it fits perfectly. So you can do horizontal or vertical. fucking cool, right? And look at it. It's got that cool, like, little, like, Sega logo, and they got the little smiley faces for, like, 1 or 2 player. Again, it's not perfect, but for what's here is pretty darn nice. You know, it is scratched up a bit. Mind you, this is from 1985. What am I going to expect, right? But I'm going to add a fan to the thing for sure. How close was this city you stopped in Iowa, like, to Des Moines? Oh, you mean, like, the how close was it from the truck stop? It was probably like a half hour out. It was out in the farm country. I don't mean the PCB. I mean if you turn the screen to vertical, you would have to mount the control panel on the other other side of the cab as well. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, you won't, because you can see here. Oh, so you're thinking that. Hang on, that's a good question. I can take a look at that, but you can see, like, in here, there's still the original slides, and then here's the 4 mounts for the monitor. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I mean, technically, I don't think the chassis would get in the way it's mounted. But that's a good question. I'll have to mess around with that. But I guess we'll find out. You used to live in Johnson, hop, skip, and a jump. Okay, so you know about that side of Iowa. So another thing I've been doing is I've been doing a power profile of all my arcade cabinets. This thing sips power. Compared to every arcade in this room, this thing takes up less than 1 amp and 58 watts, almost 59 watts. Just this one cabinet, 59 watts. That's not bad. This is an efficient cabinet. Compared to my Outrun takes over like almost 100 watts plus. It's pretty impressive. Less than an amp, and that's with a PCB and everything. Yeah. So, excuse me. I was super impressed by this thing. I was really pleased with it. But once I had it going, I mean, it just grew on me. And I put the stools on it, and I'm like, this is it. This is it. All I got to do. So I started taking apart the control panel, right? And the control panel is pretty easy. There's like 2 little butterfly screws. And you can see there's like an old Semetsu kind of a hamburger, like of a control panel in here. And you can see that there's like extra, there's ways to put more buttons and things in here. They're 24 millimeter buttons, and I had these weird aftermarket screw tops in there that they had to go. The original controller was really fascinating. And we were just taking it apart, trying to understand what cables, what wires were what. Yeah, it is hinged. So you take those 2 screws out, right here, there, and there, and it hinges open so you can do service, which is super nice, right? Of course, Egon found he was inspecting and had the PCB board, and he wouldn't get off of it. The original connector seems to be pretty serviceable. I just have to document what these wires are control-wise, and once I get that done, I'm going to build a knowledge base for this cabinet. There's nothing on this cab other than it's a T-13 Sega cabinet. It's a table that was the predecessor to the Aero table and a predecessor to the Aero City, and that's it. There's like the only other person that that did a write-up on the cabinet, Richard Chappelle. He's the only other one that actually wrote. There's like a single-page write-up on the cabinet, which is interesting. Yeah, the U.S. cocktail info in the U.S. is non-existent, yeah. So Kelly came in, and she came by to help, which was great. And we started taking apart that controller. And this is fascinating because it was like an old Semetsu controller. And like I said, it was like a hamburger. And you can see it says like Semetsu Co. Limited, which was fascinating to see. Patent pending. And it was like this weird... So I tried like to fit like one of those JLF-style mounts. And it was like, no, ain't gonna work. But that's how the controller goes together. And it's loose as fuck. So I think the pivot is either like completely done for in this cabinet. But it's loose. It's playable, but it's loose. The actuators are still good. The spring is still good. But everything else is loose. So I don't know what to do with the original controller. I don't know if I'm going to rebuild it. But I've already found a solution. The good news is I was told that a Semetsu LS32 or an LS40 will retrofit this cabinet. So I bought new sticks and buttons for the cabinet. I got brand new sticks. I got LS40 sticks. and I got a great color combination. It's gonna look fantastic. Got 4 pawn springs in it. It's gonna be beautiful. And on top of it, I like that LS40, that plus gate for like Pac-Man and Galaga, like the old school games. You'd put a new stick in. You have to. You have to. The old sticks are fucked, and you can't find any parts for them. They're done. They're done. They're from 1985. There's no way I'm gonna find it. Sega doesn't. I can't find a manual about this table. I can't find schematics. I cannot find build information. I can't find a cap map. So I'm gonna build all this shit, and I'm gonna document the fuck out of it and say, "Hey, people, go buy Sega T-13 tables because they're dope as fuck." And then watch. Guess what? And then the arcade people will be like, "You're raising the prices on these cabinets. Stop documenting. Fuck off. This cabinet's important." And I know other people that have reached out to me that have basically said, "Hey, I got this cabinet and I know nothing about it. Please help me." And I'm like, "Well, fuck it. I'll help you. Let's do this together." You know, you send me information. I got 3 people now total. And we're all over the world and in the United States. And we're going to work together to make a cool little knowledge base for this thing. They're cool. And look at the original button plug. It fits a 24 millimeter button. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Fits it. It would kill for an Aero table. That's the thing. You know, this is an Aero table. To a degree, it's not fully JAMA. Yes, it's, you know, but it's about as close as you can get. I thought about rewiring it to the original button stick standard, but I ended up only finding the LS40 with the terminals on the outside, the 187 terminals. So I'm just going to replace I'm not going to install this. I'm not going to cut the wires to install the new connector. I may do it in the future, but I don't know. You can hardly. That's what somebody else was telling me, is that there's a run on cocktail cabinets in Japan, and apparently the prices are going through the roof too. In Japan. I don't know so much about here. Or the SNK candy. Oh my god, Aquos. Hey! Holy god. Especially when it comes to old school stuff like this, their long pass and official support, any of the hands, community keeps it alive. Absolutely. How you doing, everybody? We're talking about the new cabinet that I just got. Welcome, Raiders. This is kind of like a feature of the show. I ended up picking up a new cabinet, a Japanese candy, well, kind of a candy cab, I guess. But it's a Sega T-13 table. How you doing? Glad to have you. Welcome, Raiders. So, yeah, we're talking about how efficient this thing is, and you know, I drove to Iowa to get it, and we're talking about the sticks and buttons and the chunk. It was great, you know, so taking apart and figuring out the controls is a thing. Figuring out the buttons is a thing. So for anybody that's new to the channel that's hanging out with us today, hi, I'm DJ Psycho M1, a.k.a. Joel. Glad to have you. Welcome to my fantastic PANDEMiCADE here in Chicagoland. Glad to have you. And yeah, we're talking about new gets because that's what we do here. We're gonna go back to my webpage, but thank you for the raid, man. I see Akos has been working his butt off on those on a lot of awesome games lately. You were playing this jump game the other day ago that I was kind of mesmerized on. You're just like jumping off walls. That was crazy as hell. I really like that game. So I wanted to pick the coin door, and I was like, because I couldn't get the coin door open, and something was rattling around inside. So we ended up picking the coin door, and we got to the coin meter, but we got a video here. We got a video of me picking the coin door here and finding out what's inside.
Oh shit! Hang on a second.
It's a mystery of all new arcade cabinets, you know.
So the treasure is in here.
What treasure's in the coin box?
Recording?
All right. Yeah. Come on, money. Come on, money chow.
Here we go. What we got in here?
Come on, money chow.
Here we go.
Money
Oh, there's quarters in here!
Woo! There's like a dollar.
Yeah! What do we got?
Yeah.
Hang on. We got quarters from. Now I could see why this. Yeah, it was like a $1.50 in quarters.
That
it was
I think
nice.
is like a new record. Okay, so
it was like a $1.50 in quarters, but it was really cool. So we got the thing up and running. And I'm telling you,
so we got the table running.
Sounds great. It sounds
it
works great.
We want to put into it. Playing some Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man.
It's perfect for like
Not to be confused
Pac-Man
with
and beer.
Yes.
You know,
and chow.
But I'm telling you, what a neat cabinet, and I'm super happy. Yeah, it pays for itself. The cabinet pays for itself. Yeah, wait for the day where you find a free PCB in the coin box. But But yeah, that's what we got. And in fact, I'm gonna roll it on over so everybody can take a look at it. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see this. We're gonna see what this cabinet looks like. Okay, give me a second here. All right, so we're gonna get the action cam, and that's gonna get a little bright in here. And let's go to the Egon cam here. Let's get to here, and we'll show you guys the table. You see what it's looking like. Chonk. Got the Chonk here. Arcade Cat. Right? All right, let's take a look at this thing. We're going to drag her on over. Ugh. She's got some heft. And mind you, I carried this thing myself. I carried it myself. All right, Chonk, we're going to have to kick you out. Ugh. Chonk's got to go. He can watch from here. All right. He also tossed in this sweet Sega banner. I was like, fuck yeah, I'll take this Sega banner. Appreciate it. He's a good man. All right, here we go. Well, bam. The new cocktail. Let's take a look at her. Take a look at her. She's looking pretty good. It's pretty good. We crack her up. It's like, It's got this little hinge, and it stays open. Yeah, and then everything looks good. Even the original hinges, like, got a demagnetization button for those people that just joined the stream. This thing was built in 1985, which is really cool. Adjustable table. You can see the adjustable monitor controls and information there. The PCB. Let's pull this out here. Just hang that off for now. That's fine. The PCB board comes out, as you can see, and I just have some wood, the most useful box in arcade history are these priority mail boxes. I use them for everything, just to protect the PCB so they don't touch the monitor. But, yeah, let's dip her in the cabinet. You can't see too much down there, but, yeah, this monitor will turn, so you can completely rotate everything, and it's easy to maintain, too. But, yeah, this whole thing will turn. This bezel, you can see the bezel is loose, so you can just rotate it. But I have to take off all of these screws to take off the glass to rotate the bezel. So I rotate the monitor, rotate the bezel, and then I can have a vertical cabinet or horizontal, tate or yoko. Once again, the controls, to access the controls, are these really nice, spinaroonie deals. What are they called? Wing nuts. And then this whole thing comes down, and it's really easy to work on. You can see the bottom of the cabinet is in really good condition. The power button's on over here. Chunks like, this thing's interesting. Right? And there she is, running Pac-Man. Now, maintenance for, which is really cool. I like that you can take off, for example, let me show you here. If you need to maintain, which I'm going to be, because I'm going to have to rebuild a JAMA harness, and I'd like to work on possibly, JAMA harnesses that I can sell, because they don't really make these anymore. But these are kind of fascinating. It's the original, Sega, breadboard, a solder board for, the JAMA harness. I found these really interesting. And I noticed that some previous person wrote, colored it in red, because there's a red arrow on the amp up connector here. And yeah, so you want to, when you want to, because this JAMA harness he gave me is a fucking Frankenstein. So that's why I'm gonna rebuild this thing. It looks like absolute dick. But there you go. How heavy is the thing? It's pretty heavy. I would say it's about the heft of. Fuck. It's heavy enough. It's heavy enough. All right. Now, let me put my board back in. So this is the original board. I kind of find this fascinating. It's like that old school, 2-3-ply wood, right? And then, oh, hang on. There's the monitor RGBs. We're going to get those out of the way. We'll slide this in, right? Oh, no. Hang on. Just trying to do this one-handed here. There we go. That's nice and in there. And then, of course, you get the postage boxes. Why do I use these? Again, because the monitor neck board is like right there. You could see it. So the postage box keeps something from touching. I don't want nothing touching this monitor. And there wasn't a lot of protection, so just going to leave that Miss Pac-Man in there. All right. But she works really good. You know, you just hit the DMAG switch, and once you got a nice picture up, there you go. Bam. Hit the DMAG so you're nice and all your colors, and then you just close her on up. Boop. And you have a nice cocktail arcade cabinet. You can put drinks on here. You can, and now mind you, the glass comes off, so this is a two-piece, and you can put arts here for like different games and things, or I can have like a little flyer about my arcade and my home, or, you know, rules of the arcade or whatever. So these you can put stuff into for arts. But yeah, they work. They fucking work, man. It works really well. The audio works well. You could put cave shmups in it. You name it. But it fully works. So there you go. We've got ourselves a new cabinet for the arcade, and I'm super happy to get it. Really hard to say exactly. I didn't know you know, it's one of those weird things where it's like, I didn't know I needed it. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is it. And it's mainly for this fact right fucking there. Sega. This is you know, true OG Sega before, you know, this is like Outrun time. You know, this is like 1985 Outrun time. Sega. When Sega ruled the fucking world. So, there you go. And, you know, what I can do is I can just kind of shuffle it over here in the corner. Of course, doing it myself, but, I mean, it's nice, because then I could keep it over there, you know, put some drinks on it, people can hang out. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it.